Welcome back, folks, to yet another episode of the Howlcast. Yet again, I am accompanied by Tom.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, do it again because I was talking over you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Say hello.
What's up, guys?
I'll fix it in post. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little rusty, everybody. It's been a while. We both have some real-world jobs and real-life situations to contend with that seem to be becoming status quo instead of the exception.
Yeah.
All
Hopefully,
right, Terrell.
2024 is better.
Yay, 2024. I'm going to get Terrell seen this shirt. I have a dumpster fire shirt, which is 2020 with a 2021 dumpster in it and a 2022 dumpster inside that one. And I think I'm going to have to get the 2024 inside the 2023. It's pretty much Russian nesting dolls with dumpster fires. So as soon as like the first week of 2024 is over, guess what kind of shirt I'm getting, Terrell?
I think we're just unlucky, like where we are in the country. The
Mm-hmm.
waves and waves of sickness. Like Papa Nurgle is just established.
Grandfather Miracle definitely is loving where we live. You know, I bet you the airstream. I mean, despite the wackiness of the morons who don't want to wear masks and it's not real, it's just a bad cold. Well, besides that stupidity, we have some really weird northern and southerly jet streams that just carry stuff everywhere over here too. You know?
I didn't even think about that. I didn't realize. But it just seems like this past year has just been constant wave after wave, where other friends are just sick and tired of me saying, like, yeah, people are sick here.
Oh yeah, sick and tired of you. Well, you have a particular family member in a particular profession to.
Yeah, bring a lot.
What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not trying to be snarky either. I'm looking for a good
Highly
descriptive here.
infectious. Yeah, highly infectious. High risk career.
Yeah, high risk with abandon, it sounds like, is that she doesn't really. Oh, well, I said family member, and I just said her. So, well, it could be an aunt, mom, sister,
Yeah,
sister-in-law,
but I
whatever.
mean, it's just like
Or a
it's not just
sister.
me. It's you. It's people in the city. It's everybody. It's just constant.
Holy crap. We were going to save this for last, but I'm looking at a meme right now on There Was an Attempt, and it's the Israeli flag with some rabbi in the middle wearing a giant Jewish star, and it says, "If I don't steal it, someone else will." We'll get to that at the end, folks. We're going to get to that one at the end. I'm
Are you
jumping
sure?
ahead.
Okay.
Well,
right.
I don't know what the algorithm's going to do to us if we bring that topic up first. So I figure we should get more than 3 minutes
Yeah, we
in
gotta. No,
before.
you're right. Yeah, it only checks the first 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending.
Well, boy, do I have at least 15 minutes for you, my friend. I love Doctor Who. Love Doctor Who. Loved it. I watched the OG originals in black and white, even when they came back in colorized. And then once other guy took over with the new Doctor Who and then was replaced by David Tennant, it rocketed up in popularity, and I just couldn't watch it enough. I watched all the one-shot specials. I watched the one-shot movie theater only releases. And then Stephen Moffit left as the showrunner, and they decided, hey guys, let's make this accessible. And they onboarded Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor Who, and I was like, okay. I saw some interviews. She's plucky. She seems into it. She seems like she's also a fan, which is key. And I was like, let me give her a shot and see how this goes. And the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who, and I gave it like a season and a half, was entirely rolled back to a Monster of the Week episode. And then they went bananas with the EOE. Sorry, it's not Equal Opportunity Employment anymore. It's DIE, Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity, check boxes. And they had 4 companions, 2 of which were senior citizens, checkbox. 1 male, 1 female. Okay, you get a minus for the white male, I guess. You get a plus for the female. Black guy who I think was going deaf or something like that. And then an Indian female cop who was also, drumroll to roll, which checkbox did she fill?
Someone's got to like woman.
Ah, ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. She was the Lesby Friends on the show. And it just went downhill so bad. By the way, folks, I apologize. You probably heard that little gulp. I am drinking some super fine Bardstown Bourbon tonight, Origin Series White Label. Got a little heat. It's 48%. And it is a super yummy blend. 6-year-old or aged rather, for 6 years of 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% barley. And boy, this is tasty. It's got a lovely caramel amber hue. All right, back to the show. Commercial's over, even though we're not getting paid for jack. So I gave up on Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who because it was just too much D-I-E, and too much of her portraying Matt Smith, the character that Matt Smith played as Doctor Who, where he was like almost like childish with wanton abandon and very rarely took anything serious. She was doing a lot of that. It's like, okay, this is just a female Matt Smith Doctor Who. It's not like it never felt like she developed her own spin on the Doctor Who character.
I have a very personal take on Doctor Who because when I was outside of the United States as a kid, we would get bootleg VCRs from the UK all the way to the Indian subcontinent. We would copy after copy after copy, like just low quality, but we would really watch it, and it was like it blew our minds. Like so, classic Doctor Who are much more personal for me, especially the Doctor Who theme song. The first theme song for Doctor Who was revolutionary for electronic
Mm-hmm.
music. Like I learned that I loved electronic music before I knew what electronic music was. It's still
Nice.
one of the most haunting pieces today. I want to make sure that people understand that both me and my co-host, we're not against.
What's my name, Tiral? What's my name? What's this
No, but
stupid podcast called?
no, but I want to just make sure that we're not anti minorities or different sexualities and whatnot. That first Doctor Who song was made by one of the first out openly trans males. I think her last name was Carlos, who was a genius who just happened to be trans. She was a musical genius first, trans person second, and that's how he thought of himself. And there was always things that were outside of society in Doctor Who from beginning all the way to in the beginning to present times. So there's no hatred for introducing different types of characters or actors or actresses or cast members, things like that. It's the execution. I think we're both have a lot of misgivings about.
I may disagree with some of that down the line, but let me continue my rant here. So I gave up on the Jodie Whittaker. I don't even know what the character arc is anymore, but at some point her arc ends, using the word character arc and story arc here very loosely, because again, for like the first season and a half, her take on Doctor Who was literally Monster of the Week. So I don't know where they went with that story, but gave up on it. At some point, she hits the end of her arc, regenerates, and think at the very end, last episode of her arc, they bring David Tennant back as Doctor Who. And so we lead into the rest of my rant, which is the 2023 Christmas specials. There's three of them, 1, 2, 3. And I did my damnedest to watch the first one. I tried to watch it so bad, and it was horrible. Horrible writing. Tennant, which I'm super shocked, looked really bad. Like, he's already a skinny guy, and he looked drawn and gaunt, and they looked like they covered him with about 10 layers of spray on tan. He didn't look like David Tennant as Doctor Who. He just didn't look healthy at all. And now they're reprising a very old story arc where one of his companions by the name of Donna, everybody knows who Donna is, she ended up absorbing some of his essence when he regenerated. And she, as a human, took on a whole bunch of Time Lord juju, which started to kill her. It was starting to burn out her brain. So he did something. I don't think this is spoilers. I don't know. You think this needs to be a spoiler whammy? Maybe.
No one's watching the show. I think you could spoil
We
it.
don't even need it, but it's a fun effect. Maybe I'll stick it in post. But he did
The
something
viewership
where,
numbers are atrocious.
hey man, our Dark Fate, Terminator Dark Fate is like somewhere around 20,000 views now. Go
I'm talking
figure.
about Doctor Who.
Oh, I thought you meant
Yeah, the
us.
doctor. Yeah, the viewership for Doctor Who is just atrocious.
Dude, I absolutely internalized that as us.
Let me put some context into the first season of this new Doctor. As far as I can tell, it seems like she was Jodie Whittaker was doing well in theater. The way the BBC worked, like if you know the right people, so on and so forth, and she was casted because she was well liked. The new director and her had a working relationship before. She seemed pleasant, she seemed nice. There were some signs that it was a little off because she didn't really know much about Doctor Who. She wasn't exactly the biggest fan, and maybe in interviews she said she was, but when she was hired, like she didn't really know much. You mentioned how it became Monster of the Week. The new directors, showrunner, writer, everyone, the creative team, and Jodie Whittaker and the rest of the cast, they struggled really badly. They struggled, like you said, like figuring out, like formulating this new Doctor. They struggled with the writing. They struggled with so many things that viewership started to fall off. And to save it, they went into that Monster of the Week. They thought that going away from a serialized story, which nobody liked, to a Monster of the Week would kind of like establish the characters, make people come back because, hey, you don't need to care about the overall story. You can just pop in and enjoy the episode, and hopefully you'll come back for the next episode. Same thing. It didn't work. The viewership fall off was so significant. BBC, the parent company of BBC, had an all hands emergency meeting because the BBC's financial planning depends on X amount of merch sales and right sales for Doctor Who. A very strong amount, actually. Like Doctor Who, I had no idea, but Doctor Who brings in the BBC a huge portion of its budget. So when people stop watching, it's not just like, oh well, we'll come back next year. It's like a situation because they literally would have to cancel movies, documentaries, music stuff, all sorts of things because Doctor Who's not selling. Which
Oh,
is the reason in this current season they threw away whatever they had in the first season and try to bring back the nostalgia, the David Tennant, the old hits, the old showrunner.
dude, they tried to bring
Any
back the Savior in David Tennant and it failed.
anything and everything, right? Like because they got to get that money back, they got to get that budget right, and they came in with the hopes that they made a mistake first season. Some things they got to live with, Jodie Whittaker, somebody they got to live with. But like, hey, let's bring back all the guys that we knew made things hit, and I'll leave it to you to explain why it didn't.
Okay, so here we go, folks. And this is where I'm probably going to contradict a little bit of but also kindly said my favorite earlier. All right, so I got about a half hour in, and that's it. I couldn't even finish Christmas special #1. There's a guy playing the daughter of Donna Noble, and also this daughter, by the way, daughter, air quotes here, never ever mentioned, never ever seen before as a young child. This is now a grown guy playing a daughter who has a square jaw, has enough 5 o'clock shadow that there's clearly multiple layers of foundation over the 5 o'clock shadow to hide it. And the entire episode, she's referred to as, oh, Donna's daughter. Donna's daughter is great. Loved her since she was little. Like, no even acknowledgement. Like, hey, this is a guy. Black Mark #1. It was extremely weird to see that because Donna never had a child before. And now, poof, all of a sudden, not only does she, oh, and black daughter, by the way, she marries a black man at some point, which, hey, I don't give a crap. I got friends with mixed marriages, and I do not care at all. You love who you love, right? But to throw in a fake woman as a daughter when you could have hired an actress to play the role who would have looked womanly, that probably would have at least helped. And then there's the discovery of an alien hiding out on Earth, which is like, classic Doctor Who. That used to happen all the time. And this not daughter, like a son, discovers the alien the same time Doctor Who does. And instead of being a regular, good old fashioned human reaction of what the F is that? Holy crap, is that an alien? No. This is what happens exactly next in that scene. You ready, Terrell? The tranny corrects Doctor Who on assuming the alien's pronouns is the first reaction out of the box. Instead of like, there's an alien in my basement? What the F? Bleepity bleep 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 bleep. No. Corrects Doctor Who on the use of assumed pronouns. At that point, actually, no, I sent you about 30 more text messages after that one. I thought I punched out right about then. Oh, yeah. There's also these hunters, these other aliens that are hunting the original alien. And man, BBC ripped off the parademons out of DC. Kind of insectoid, the kickback legs and dragonfly wings. Yep, that's a parademon. That also happens to be these hunter dudes as well. So that kind of was jarring to see that they didn't use a unique design, that they clearly copied something else.
I just think execution was off in every level. There was not a
The
single thing.
execution and this unnecessarily dire need for diversity, inclusion, and equity was off the charts and just ruined the show. I mean, a human correcting Doctor Who on the assumptive use of pronouns instead of some sort of organic, natural reaction of like, holy crap, it's an alien, was just stupid. Utterly stupid. That is end of rant on Doctor Who. I actually took some notes on the boys' Generation V as well, which I'm hoping we can shoehorn into this.
No, definitely. I just want to end with saying that we want Doctor Who to be good.
Yeah,
It starts with the writing. If the writing is poor, it's not going to hit. It's just not going to go. And also, this you can correct me on this one. Doesn't it feel like the American fascination with Doctor Who like kind of melted away after Tennant left? Like
that's
Matt
hard
Smith,
to answer because
that you know,
you know me, I'm part of a very niche group of sci-fi fantasy convention nerds, and so Doctor Who circulates frequently in that group. So it's hard. I can't really answer that objectively.
without looking at the financial results like of Merc sales and whatnot, it's hard. We can't say either way. But I feel that Matt Smith, even though he's turned out to be a very underrated actor, he's very good.
Oh man, House of
He
the Dragon. He was
Yeah,
terrifying in that role.
he's yeah he like we didn't. But when we first saw him as Doctor Who, it wasn't exactly well received. Um,
We're
I
20
feel
minutes
like
in. I believe my original response was, "Who is this goofy asshole?"
yeah, yeah, right. Like he's very goofy. He's got a goofy face, it's very
He makes fun of himself, though.
now we love his
Sorry.
face. I feel once David Tennant left, the American from the stateside, the fascination with Doctor Who just fell off quite a bit.
I would counter that I think once Stephen Moffat left as the showrunner, then the fascination started to wear off because he was awesome. He kept continuity alive. He kept the character arc relevant to who Doctor
Yeah,
Who is and added growth instead of just being like, look, we're going to throw a woman in front of the camera. We're going to give her all these diversity, inclusion, and equity check marks to bring along with her. I don't think Moffat would have allowed that. And that might have been why he got let go. Because I don't think he left. I think he got let go, but I
it,
will have to double check that and link that in the end.
by the way, I also made a mistake. The lady who made the original Doctor Who theme song, his name is Delia Derbyshire, and Wendy Carlos was the EDM pioneer. So I made mistakes too. I feel it's execution. I don't really mind the casting choices, but it has to make sense. The actors and actresses have to fit the character and do well, and the script has to give them something to work with. And I don't think any of those happened.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't have a story to tell. Maybe at this point, maybe Doctor Who just needs a big reset. Maybe we need to hand wave the timeline away and just start from beginning. I think that might be the best way to go for Doctor Who, to be honest. Like,
The problem is you would alienate a lot of the diehard nostalgia
but
fans.
but the diehard nostalgia fans aren't watching anyway.
I am the group of people I was talking about. I mean, okay, I just said I only watched 1.5 seasons of Jodie Whittaker, but then I saw Christmas specials coming up, and I was like, yeah, let me
Yeah,
throw
I
my
haven't.
Doctor Who shirt on and watch. We know people. I'm not going to say names here because they haven't signed off on anything for this. We know a lot of people. Plus, there's a convention in our area that's Doctor Who specific that runs every
Yeah,
year. So
I don't think viewership is there. I think it's not just old fogies like you and I. I don't think the young kids are watching. I don't think the old fogies are watching. I think only the diehards are trying and they're hoping and hoping, please be good, and it's just not good. In UK, viewership has fallen off.
which is
So
a shame because Doctor Who is the only protagonist other than MacGyver that I can think of that doesn't use violence to solve issues. He uses his wits and his cleverness and outthinks the enemy.
it's choices. There's so many entertainment choices. There's so many shows now. There's so much anime now. If this Doctor Who show isn't clicking, you don't give it another shot. You go onto your backlog of anime that's 100 titles long, and you
It's
go through
like
that.
it's like you're using me as your subject model right now,
I mean, I think that's what's going on now. I think shows, especially long running shows, they don't get second chances. The young kids are not giving shows second chances. There's no comeback. Like the only I mean they're rare exceptions, but I feel that you gotta do a hard reset to make everyone give it a shot again. Because if you don't do a hard reset, it just people don't give it another shot.
the attention span and the attention deficit is real.
Very, very.
People will pass and move on real quick and then be like, "Oh, what was that I was watching? I don't even remember."
If you didn't have your background of loving Doctor Who from so long ago, if I didn't have that thing where like I would listen to the VCR tape, spool up, after it's been copied 50 times, go on a transcontinental route to my house, like if we don't have that kind of emotional attachment, would we be giving it as much big of a shot as we do? Like, I don't think so. I think we would just move on to all the shows on Netflix I got on my watch list that I just haven't checked out yet. There's
Yeah,
just too many choices. You can't mess up anymore. You just
surprisingly,
can't.
you can because that's a great segue into. I tried watching The Boys Generation V. So I'm trying to give it a full go into episode 4, but it centers around a VOT subsidiary or a VOT subsidized high school for the gifted and talented. It's not really a high school, it's like somewhere between high school and college. So these kids range anywhere from like 16 to like early 20s. Some of the actors and actresses look like they're in their 30s trying to play it. It's kind of like Grease when it was like 40-year-old actors playing high school kids, is kind of how it looks. It's it's plugging the DIE stuff as well, but not as bad as Doctor Who did. Like, for example, there's one character, she's a white female. Her power is she gets like super tiny, and she's making YouTube videos. And also, part of being in this school is you have to have a social media presence. It's almost like being a YouTuber, except being a powered individual within this school. And you have to have a social media presence. You have constant rankings, you have viewership analysis, things like that going on. So this one girl gets super tiny, and that's her whole shtick. This is how I want to be recognized. This is what all my social media is about. So finally, she meets some guy. They get naked together, and he tells her, "Oh, I'd love if you got small." I'm pretty sure I could say it now. We're almost a half hour in. It'd be great if you got small and jerked me off. And she gets like super offended. She's like, "Huh? What?" But meanwhile, her entire identity is attached to her getting small. You know?
I've been saving the Generation V for right before the next season of The Boys because I thought I've read. I try to avoid spoilers, but I read that there are things in the Generation V sub show that pertains to the actual next season. So it's not a must watch, but it'd be a really good watch to prepare for next season.
I was just hoping it'd be along the same lines. Oh, by the way, there's no female nudity yet. Plenty of male nudity, by the way.
Good
There's
for me,
one
man.
scene. You're so freaking weird, man. There's one scene where the same chick. This is a bit of a spoiler, so spoiler alert. Tiral, I know you don't give a crap. Spoiler alert. Same girl that can get small. We find out that she can also get big, and
Right.
she like breaks out of this garage as the classic 50-foot tall woman. And for once, they did something right. The clothes don't grow with you. That's also something that happens when she gets small. Is she actually goes and puts doll clothes on when she gets small? Her clothes don't shrink or grow with her. So she's a 50-foot tall nude woman now who is strategically covered up. Okay, guess how many boobs I've seen in Generation V so far, Terrell?
I'm going to say 0, PG-13.
Zero. Guess how
Yeah.
many weenies we've seen so far in
Oh,
Generation
the
V?
more the better. Tell me. Guess I got to
I
move
worry
my
about you
watch list
sometimes,
stuff.
dude. Three. Only three. Sorry.
That's a
Only three
lot.
so
That's
far.
actually, for wait a minute, there's not that many episodes. 3 is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for like what, 12 episodes or 8?
And only 4 episodes in, there's already been three. And the three different ones. Not even the
Ooh,
same ones.
ooh, that's a penis per episode almost, man. Ooh, spicy.
This is not supposed to be advertising to watch it.
I'm just saying, like one an episode. That's a lot.
All right.
I don't know.
So,
I bet they were thinking that there's some things, that experimental stuff they wanted to try, and they knew they have to bring it with the mainline show. So with like a spin-off, they can do other things that they've been meaning to do, or maybe wanting to try.
you know what?
I'm
I can grant you
guessing.
that. Or
I'm
maybe they're just
guessing
trying to grab the woke agenda audience because, oh, look at how progressive we are. There's
it's
been
possible.
zero boobs and three wieners already.
It's not the worst strategy, because if you know that the mainline has to always bring the heat,
Yeah.
that like then you don't want to endanger that the mainline. But with spin-offs, like most people aren't going to watch. You hope a lot of them will, and in those ones you can do experimental stories. And like I thought that the blurb, saying like it's from the Voight, like the Voight school. I thought that was a really
Actually, we're both
interesting.
saying it wrong. You know why? Because I have John Voight on the brain. It's the
That's me
Vought. It's
too.
pronounced Vought. I'm
Vought.
saying it.
No,
We're saying it wrong. It's Vought.
no, no, you're right. You're right. If I had to, yeah, Vought, like so the story is experimental. Maybe the casting is experimental. Like I'm much more happy that they experiment in a spinoff like that than in the main. Like in the main, it's just it has to be quality first. But if it's a spinoff, then it's all right. You can take it or leave it. We're not attached to any of these characters.
Unless some of them are going to show up in season 4.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. But
Because the whole gist, wait, hang on, the whole gist of this is some of them have discovered that, gasp, there's a seedy underbelly to this prestigious school that they're going to. So I guarantee you, I'm going to put $5 on it right now between you and me and our two listeners. I think I'm being generous. The
yeah.
two listeners are us, folks. We're talking to ourselves, really. But that the main character in this show is going to become so disgruntled with the school that she falls in with Billy Butcher and friends.
So when the MCU was killing it, Kevin Feige had an idea saying that the TV universe and the movie universes are not connected. So I used to love this show called Shield,
Mm-hmm.
and it frustrated the hell out of me that the TV show, anything in that show didn't matter at all in the movies. So like all the characters I loved on the show didn't show up in the movies, even in like background. And I thought that was a bad idea. But then when the pandemic happened, and now Disney was like, wait, no, we're gonna make so many shows, and and you gotta watch the shows to understand the movies. you see how badly things have gotten, where like since people skip the shitty TV shows, they're not interested in the movies either because they're like, who the hell's that character?
Right.
I hope that the people behind the boys
But that's
take the
America
earlier.
Santos with her border breaking ability.
Yeah, I mean, like, can we talk? I want to talk about that character a little after this,
All right.
but
You finish your part, and then I got a few more rant points I got to make here.
I just hope that like they construe or fold in characters from the spinoff in such a way that anyone who hasn't watched the spinoff doesn't feel like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Who is this person? If they fold it in like just in a natural way, I think that would be better for the product. That's what, like the old, MCU way of like, okay, you don't have to watch the TV shows, but here's this character, and we introduce him in an organic way, and everything seems natural. I hope that's the way they do it.
All right. Well, here's the next one for me. Not to dismiss you. I didn't mean it to sound like that. My bad. There is, I can't even remember the character's name. But there's some questionable, possibly fake minority character who is of dark skin and black hair. And she says something along the lines to a white female character in like an aghast tone to be the cultural change agent you want to be. I'm just going to puke. Moving on. There's a lesbian feminazi character that says, I'm like PewDiePie. I'm quoting here, air quotes, real quotes. I'm like PewDiePie without all the Nazi stuff. And it's like,
Oof.
you have to see it because the character, you get a total like neo-Nazi vibe from this character. Blonde hair, blue-eyed female, is aloof and thinks she's better than everybody else. And it's not just rich kiditis. It's not affluenza. Like you get a vibe of like there's something else going on there. Okay, you're gonna love this part, Terrell. Everything is super gay, but you're gonna hate this part. There's loads of great music in this miniseries so far. However,
No kidding. Oh no.
however, if it was a original female vocals song, it's the original song. If it was an original male vocalist song, they had a female cover it. So it's a female vocalist. So like for example, Billy Idol, Dancing with Myself features in this a couple times. It's a female singing instead of Billy Idol's original recording. Metallica, Nothing Else Matters, hard hitting, awesome song. Guess what? Completely bastardized and resung by a female. I haven't heard any male
No,
vocals in any songs yet. It's been completely female vocals.
but were they good? Were they well done?
I was too busy being pissed to recognize that, Terrell. I don't know.
Because I love covers. I mean, like I love covers of classic songs, but
The only thing, okay, covers, right? You just brought that up and it just tweaks something for me a little bit. The only thing I can think of, although it is on Prime and Prime has as much money as Bezos because it's owned by Bezos, is maybe they couldn't afford the rights to the originals, being it Metallica and Billy Idol and a couple other, gigantic names that I didn't make notes of, which is on me. Maybe it might have been rights issues.
it could be. I mean, if you do the original, you do have to pay more.
Yeah, but it's also Prime. Like Prime is hiring like Liam Neeson to do stuff, John Cena to do stuff. Like I just watched some ultra super bullshit Chinese propaganda pick, but I can't even remember the title. It was so bad, and they got Jackie Chan and John Cena in the lead roles, and everybody else except for the bad guys were clearly native Chinese actors and actresses. And it's like they got two gigantic names, especially John Cena, who's in everything right now. There's no way they got him for less than like, 9 figures. Maybe not nine, maybe 8 figures.
John
Maybe 8 figures.
John Cena having the only DCU show or movie other than Aquaman, the first one, that was a hit. He's got a lot of power right now.
Yeah, he's in the freaking Honda. He's the voiceover in the Honda commercials right now, too.
Yeah, like
He's
he's
that.
riding high.
There's another product where it's him and some stupid cow in a commercial, and I remember that much of it. But it's not just his voice; it's his image and likeness and his voice in the commercial.
He's riding high, and I hope he continues. I wish him success, because I think he knows his lane and he just sticks to it.
Yeah, wrestling. He should go back to wrestling.
No, he can't. He stopped working out like that. He's not. He's still huge, but he's not wrestling huge.
He stopped the roids, man. He shrank, but he's still
Yeah,
cut. He's still pretty cut.
yeah. Like he's no. That's what I mean. He's huge. Like in human terms, he's not wrestling huge anymore. I don't know. Like it's the music is in a strange place right now. Like TikTok, they TikTok is running music, and I think how you said like these covers are all like a certain way. I bet you they were targeting TikTok. Like they were hoping that one of these covers goes viral on TikTok, and that'll help people sell the show.
Maybe I will tell you what I do have the because I got to play it low where I am, but I do have the captions on, and it does give you the artist name and song title before the lyrics start. But then thinking again about only using covers, they got Missy Elliott's "Reserve Lick a Blick a Blick Flirk" or whatever that stupid ass song is. They got that. They got the original of that in there too. That must have cost them some change.
That had a cost. Yeah, that was
Was it "Flip
that's a
It and
good one.
Reverse It"? I think that was
Yeah,
like one of her number one big hit for a while.
yeah, huge
Yeah,
hit.
that's in there, and it's her. It's not a cover. So every single song so far has been female vocals,
Maybe the show
whereas
is directed to females. Maybe
a
that's
lot of the lead cast, three, possibly four. Oh no, sorry. Wait a second. There's the dean. There's the black chick. There's two white chicks. There's a questionable chick, and then there's a black guy. He's more like a Samoan guy, and a white guy. So 5 out of 7 people are female. One of them is questionable because this person's superpower actually started out male. So we're going to call this guy male. So 3 out of 7 are male. But this guy's power, I'm not going to say person because that's just dumb. This guy's power is that he can actually become fully female or fully male. It's like shape changing. But instead of being able to be like Mystique and change into whoever the hell I want, his only power is to be the original male version of himself, or a true female version of himself. Tiral, you blown away by all that? Is that too much?
That's a lot to take into account. That's a lot to
You should
keep
watch
track
it.
of.
We should watch it together once the apocalypse that's happening in my domicile ends.
I would much rather watch something good. I don't like hate watching. I'd rather watch something good. You know how
You know we
bitchy I
should
get when
watch party.
what
Reacher season 2 came out. Reacher season
I've heard
1
nothing but good
did
things.
not give a fuck about diversity, inclusion, and equity. And they got
It's,
it right
it's,
based on the original material in the books. Jack Reacher is like freakishly tall, and then the movies had Tom Cruise, who's only a little bit taller than me. And for those of you in Lone Wolf Land who've never met me in real life, I am just outside the high limit of little people of America. So they get this guy, can't remember his name, but I will credit him at the end of this. He's 6'8", and he is freaking ripped. Like muscles on top of muscles, like a really, really intimidating, gigantic human being. And season 1 was spectacular. So I strongly recommend season 1. As soon as I finish this hot garbage, that is, I don't even know what we were talking about anymore because I lost track. The boys, help me out here, Terrell. Come on, man. What are we talking about? The
it's
boys,
just
something.
Generation V.
Generation V. As soon as I finish this mess, I'm going to do a palate cleanser with Reacher.
It.
And then I'm going to go
I've heard
watch some
nothing but
Gundam.
good things. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
nothing but good things. The shows, there's a few shows that I've been meaning to watch. One's an anime made by America. It's on Prime, called Blue Eyed Samurai, and
Oh, I've heard of that.
it's supposed to be one of the best animes in the last 5 years. and it's inspired by a husband and wife team that based on their daughter, and it's on a must watch. Um, there's a few things, but I'm a little overwhelmed, man. There's so many things to watch. I'm just like, oh, I don't, it's like a mountain. But let's get into. So we covered Doctor Who. What was the next show we wanted to cover?
Oh, you wanted to
Generation
talk
B.
about Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon?
Yeah, yeah, that is such a piece of crap. It was so bad. I got angry at like wasting my time, and I looked into like the behind the scenes footage and the behind the scenes of specials because I was so angry. I was so angry. I gave Netflix more of my time, which might have like told Netflix that they're doing a good job, but
Which for you could have been a couple $1 billion in machine language programming, right?
it's just it was so badly made. I just couldn't understand because Zack Snyder has made good movies before. So what the hell happened here?
Right.
And this is
Which is
the best.
something we disagree on, probably a little hotly, I think. But I liked his 4 hour Justice League. I know you hated it. I enjoyed it, and then I was like, oh, cool, Zack Snyder. People, I've seen reviews where it's like this has like such a Warhammer 40K overtone, which you and I are super fanboys for.
I think most people who sat through and watched the Snyder cut liked it. Like Netflix, I think made back its money that it took to do that cut. I mean, not Netflix, Warner Brothers. Um, I don't think that's up to question. It's just my ADHD won't let me sit down that long for one movie. This is the best I can put it down to, right? Zack Snyder, in all his good movies, he was just the director. There was someone else writing, there was someone else doing director of photography. There were other people in a creative brain trust that did things. There was an executive producer that made sure he didn't go crazy. And every movie that's poor, Zack Snyder gets more and more power. This is just like, this is a commonality in him. And in this particular movie, part one, there's another part two, and they're hoping to make um, I guess, Wish Star Wars universe. Um, he's the writer, the director, and director of photography. And like, I think he might be the executive producer. Like, he's the one who pitched it to Netflix, so he might get executive producer credit too. So he's got all these hats, and the story is garbage. The script is garbage. The characters are garbage. The um most of the movie looks like garbage, except for these certain scenes that are just beautiful to look at from a picture point of view. And one of the little specials, he says why he's the DP. He's like, "Oh, I thought it would be really interesting, or I really wanted to do a show with a certain camera lens that has like minimal depth of field, meaning when you use that camera lens, whatever is in the foreground you see very clearly and incredible detail, but everything in the background is just a blur." And basically almost the entire movie, except for those like punctuation scenes, basically any scene with actual characters, they got that lens on with like no depth of field, so you just see character A and like a blur behind them. And like he was like, "Oh, if I asked any director of photography to use this lens, they would get fired. So I didn't want to fire anybody, so I was my own director of photography." The guy had no limits. No one was telling him what to do. No one was like writing. He was writing. No one was uh, making the like regular shots. He was doing that. And so you have this incredibly horrible waste of millions of dollars just burnt in a fire with just these moments of very cool looking imagery. And it's just bizarre. It is incredibly bizarre. Like the movie was so bad on so many levels. Like I didn't understand how it had so much money to burn, and who let this happen? And it turned out Netflix let Zack Snyder happen. Like, he was doing everything, and it was just incredibly bad. It's exposition, new character found, exposition, fight scene. New character found, exposition, fight scene. New character found, exposition, fight scene. It was just,
And also, how much of a Mary freaking Sue? I can't even remember the main character's name. How much of a Mary
I don't
Sue
even remember her name.
parallel was that to Ray from The Farce Awakens, where it's like she's a nobody on a backwoods planet, but we start to learn her past. You
Can I
know?
say something? I'm going to say something controversial.
Okay.
Daisy Ridley was a way better actress than whoever this person was, because all
Oh,
she did was a
I will
constant.
not confess that. Daisy
All
Ridley
she
seemed like she was an awesome actor. Like you got to at least see her emotion
she
and
tried.
like sweat through the role.
Yeah. This
You
woman
know
they
what?
got.
I gotta throw a curveball in here. I'm sorry to
Okay,
derail us here for a second.
go for it.
It wasn't Under Siege. That was a Steven Seagal movie. There's a movie where Chris Helmsworth, aka Thor, his wife had to direct the Prime movie that was actually pretty damn good. And we've never seen his wife before, I think, in anything. And she has a starring role, and she's like a stand-up, knock around, take your lumps kind of woman in this movie. And I really liked it. Give me another word for Siege. What's a synonym for Siege? Hit me.
I don't know. It's a
All right, we're going to the videotape. Hang on a sec, folks.
sure.
Some dead air for a second here, I guess, as your host totally screwed this up. Extraction. Nope, not Extraction. That's all Chris Helmsworth. She's not even in there. Elsa Pataki, that's her name. She's smoking hot, by the
I mean, Thor married her, of course.
way. It's something to do where she's on some missile platform, like an anti-ICBM missile platform out in the Pacific. This Hans Gruber-esque group comes in to take it over, and she's like the last survivor. She's pretty much Jane McClane in this building thwarting these guys, because it opens up with the premise that she wasn't even supposed to be there, but she was covering a shift for somebody. Oh shit, she's as old as I am, and she's like in rockin' shape and stupid hot. Time for some plastic surgery plugs here, Tiral. Dr. James Romanelli. Oh man.
YouTube commercials.
Yeah, I might have given away a little bit too much there. May have to. Probably not. Nobody's going to look him up or know how to spell the name because nobody's listening anyway. That's a local plastic surgeon to us. I'm trying to find this movie because it was actually really damn good. It was like high octane action. Interceptor. It was Interceptor. The movie is Interceptor. It was really good. I enjoyed it, and you folks know my bent on things. You know why? Because this movie didn't give a shit about diversity, inclusion, and equity. She just happened to be a female officer covering a shift in the wrong place at the wrong time when Hans Gruber and friends showed up. Strong recommend. Watch Interceptor. It was good. Good palate cleanser for all this other garbage we're talking about tonight.
I gotta say, Spy versus Spy, Spy X Spy Family, another banger of a season. I've been watching the Fenrir, the anime about the elf who's like walking the earth trying to understand like how her human teammates are all dead. Uh, just some great anime came out this year.
Dude, I'm still living in 80s, 90s, and okay, some modern 2020s Gundam. Like Thunderbolt just came out. Origin, which is the origin of Char, the Red Comet, which ironically, you don't meet him at all. Actually, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong one. Thunderbolt, you see him briefly, but you don't see him. You see his mobile suit. In Origins, oh my God, is that dark. I'm not giving away any spoilers, but you get Char's entire background finally on who he is and why he is the way he is. And you find out some other insider info too, which Like looking back, like if you watch the OG 78, 79 series, I think Char's Counterattack, and then Zeta Gundam, Zeta Gundam, and then the other spin-offs, the mini series like MS Eighth Team, 0080 War in the Pocket. One of my favorites, 0083 Stardust Memory, which has one of the most kicking theme songs ever, which is called Back to Paradise. I'll link that on YouTube in the end. You know what, Terrell? We are way off topic. There's one other thing we need to talk about. We're 55 minutes in. Probably be pared down to about 45 after editing.
Can I talk about America Chavez real quick?
Who?
America Chavez
I
was
thought it was Santos. It's
no,
Chavez?
Chavez. America Chavez in the Doctor Strange movie that came out.
Doctor Who and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't she have two moms? And she also had
she
a
had a
pride
whole
pin right on her jacket next to the American flag?
She had all that stuff, right? I met this girl who was a huge comic books fan, and we were just getting to know each other, and she started ranting, which is cool because I like that. And she was starting to say like how Disney ruined the character, and I was like, I thought the character was made up. I completely thought the character was made up, but it turned out like there's a comic book character named America Chavez who is this brawler. She punches shit. She's this huge. She's this big, strong lady brawler, and she's a badass. And her comics are really good, or like at least entertaining, because it's a cool chick just punching enemies, punching evil dudes. And she was saying like she was so like happy that this character is going to be in Doctor Strange, and then she went to see the movie, and it was like whoever wrote this shit like never read any of the comics at all. It was like, wait, this isn't America Chavez, this is somebody else. This is some, instead of being this heroic badass who fights, the America Chavez and the Doctor Strange movies was just this MacGuffin on two legs, and that just diversity, inclusion.
MacGuffin, bro, she was a diversity, inclusion, and equity political statement on two legs. The free two moms, the gay pride pin right next to the American flag, and it was an illegal, and her superpower was breaking borders, Terrell.
It's just like, and so it just struck me. I was like, wait, how do you screw up so badly that make you screw up so badly it's racist now? Because you look at the movie America Chavez and you look at the comic America Chavez, and now you can't unlook. You can't be like, wait, how do you take this to that? Like, are you racist? Are you like, how shitty do you have to be to turn something that was okay? I wouldn't say it was great, but something that was okay to something that was just like, oh, what is this movie? What is this movie about? It was just sometimes I just wonder what the creative
I
teams
got,
in
I
these
got
mess.
a, I got one word for you, Terrell. Kathleen Kennedy. It's not two names. It's one name at this
I mean,
point.
she's not a part of MCU. She's
Yeah, she is. She's got some creative control over Marvel.
nope, not at all.
She ruined Star Wars, and I'm pretty sure she shows up as an
In name only.
EP.
No, she has no creative control over MCU. Zero.
We will double check that in
Yeah,
the
it's all
links
Kevin
at the
Feige,
end of
man.
this.
Kevin Feige is her boss. I'm sorry, excuse me. She may be she initially was Kevin Feige's boss. That is true, but she's not allowed to do creative past Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is the creative head. Nothing gets past him.
All right. Well, there must be some unseen hand pushing him to be like, no, be better. Make her gay and lame. You know?
Like, and a small girl. Make her like just make her a small girl. Like, wait, isn't that like a 6 foot something Amazon of a woman who beats people up? Like, nah, like make her a teenage small little girl. Like, okay, all right, let's go with that.
All right. We're almost at the hour mark, and I'm gonna have to put like 8 hours in to edit this 1 hour. So there's one other thing we want to drop in here, which is I don't think is getting enough coverage at all. Local news, specifically American news, is not covering it because to be involved in a federal employment or to be a federal contractor, you actually literally have to sign paperwork that you support the existence of Israel. And now I said that, everybody knows where this is going. Tiral are probably getting banned. It's been a great run of all two listeners that are secretly us under other accounts paying attention.
Well, your daughter might listen. Give us a pity listen.
I think the original creation of Israel is utter bullshit. Stole land from an Arabic nation, maybe a disparate nation, but the original creation was utter bullshit. And now that it's like, hey, look, we're the Jews who were totally genocided against for a lot between the 30s and late 40s, but now it's cool if we do it. It's cool if we do it because we were a victim once, and now it's cool if we victimize other people. And that is not okay. I wish we had some sort of funding that we could throw against this, but alas, it's the couple dollars that Tiral and I have in our wallets, and that's it.
The first thing is like when Hamas did its terrorist attack, when we got to scale it different. It would be like having 40 9/11s happen all at once. Like it is so devastating and such a horrific attack on Israel that no one supports Hamas, and neither me or you or anyone we know is pro Hamas because they're a terrorist organization that committed
They
a
kidnap,
heinous
rape
terrorist.
women,
Yeah, like
subjugate young girls, suppress education, etc.
Yeah, so none of our opinions are justifying a terrorist attack on the nation of
Right.
Israel.
Not only that, we're not justifying terrorist actions or supporting Hamas.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
We're
we're
countering and speaking
anti-genocide.
out against the subjugation and genocide of a people.
Yeah, and
Which, by the way, guess what? I got permabanned from a subreddit for that. I'm not going to
Reddit,
say which one.
Facebook, they've all been found to be heavily, trying to put their thumbs on the scales. The thing is, you can be anti-Israel, the country, and not be anti-Jew. In fact,
Right, exactly.
like the city that we're very close to, almost every weekend, there are multiple Jewish groups protesting every weekend to
All right, we
stop
just give
the.
away where we are. Thanks, buddy.
No, I just said a city. There's many cities with Jews. there's many urban cities in America with Jews, but they, so it's not you. I think we need to stop the whole idea that if you're anti-Israel or anti-Israel's actions, that you're anti-Jew. That is not the case. If that was the case, then I mean, half of American Jews would be anti, you know, like anti-Jew. So it doesn't make sense. Um, it is a horrible situation. It's made America look extremely bad on the world stage. Biden has done an extremely horrible job.
Yeah.
He looks like the servants of the Israelis, and it's very like the rest of the world is looking at it like, wow, like okay, all we got to do is buy up American politicians and we can do whatever. Like that's the biggest takeaway internationally is that
Well, I
if
mean,
you
China already owns a bunch. They allegedly they own Eric Andrews, the mayor of New York City.
Mhm. No,
There's a couple others.
yeah, they own a bunch. They own more than a few, and but like now the entire world is like, oh wow, you can get away with anything, huh? if
Yeah,
you,
you got
I
enough
mean,
money, you just buy the opinion. It's called
yeah.
lobbying, Tiral, and it's completely legal.
When Biden keeps going on the mic and saying I'm a Zionist, like it's just like,
He doesn't even know what that means, man. That guy's
hey,
gonna, I guarantee he's gonna fade out on the mic one day doing a public address and not wake back up.
you know what, man?
That's not a threat, by the way, NSA
Yeah.
or the the intern NSA agent who may be listening to this, that's not a threat to the president. It's just because he's so old that natural causes might take over here.
I mean, our election system is so broken that we only have a
Yeah.
choice between Trump and Biden, and they both
And they
need
both
to be put
suck.
out of pasture. Yeah, they both
By
they're
the way,
too
so
goddamn
does
old.
Ron DeSantis.
Uh,
I
yeah,
think I want some guy from like Maine or Vermont or somebody. It doesn't even have to be a guy. A person from Maine or Vermont, like all of a sudden show up on the ballot, and I'm going to be like, finally, somebody who's probably fended for themselves at some point, who lives against the wilderness because it gets stupid, ridiculous cold, and they get 18 feet of snow, and this person knows how to survive. I don't care if they're a Fortune 100 company. I want somebody who knows how to like run their household and make a budget. You know, it's
I
crazy.
was I spent I think a year and a half, 2 years being intensely scared of Ron DeSantis because he was supposed to be the smart fascist. He was like,
Dude, I'm still scared of him. Like
I'm not
the
scared of it.
banana nut muffin stuff that comes out now. I think he's off the ballot, right? I think he either withdrew or he was told to withdraw or something, but he's not on the presidential ballot anymore.
Petition to be withdrawn on Maine. Trump is the Maine attorney general, I think. She petitioned the Supreme Court of the state Supreme Court, to take Trump off the ballot. So it's nothing has happened yet officially. It's just the legal process is running. But I was super scared, man. DeSantis was showing up as supposed to be the smart fascist, and he was doing really fascist things in Florida, and it seemed like he was the younger Trump alternative. And then this guy is just a loser who wears huge ass lifts to make himself look taller, and he can't
Doesn't know
talk.
how to laugh or hey, listen,
Yeah,
that's racist. You can't say that because I'm a short person. That's racist, bro.
you're
Because
not you're
no, no,
not
no, no,
wearing
sir. The
boots.
term racism encompasses everything that has nothing to do with racism anymore. You might have even been short phobic there because clearly adding phobia at the end means it's bad, even though like that means fear and terror, and I don't think that actually applies when you throw phobia on the end. So, all right, I'm goofing off. We're
Yeah,
a
like,
little
but
over an hour in. I got a
the,
lot of
the
editing to do.
the politics in the U.S. is very depressing in general.
Yeah,
It
no,
just
it's not only
feels.
depressing, it's off the rails, and it's damn scary because at this point, it's a popularity contest, and the usually the popular winner now is who's crazier, or as in Biden's case, who's more incapable of change.
We don't know what 2024 is going to bring. It is. It could be anything. There's another virus floating around in China right now. There are a bunch of places that are looking for war. Like
Well, Syria
Ukraine
is
and
still
Russia are
in
still
war.
going.
Ukraine and
Yeah.
Russia are still at war. Let's see. This upstart thing is
Venezuela and
happening with
Guyana might go to war.
Palestine and Israel, which is extremely one-sided. Something's happening in South America between Venezuela and one of the neighbors.
Guyana. Yeah.
Did Colombia go to war with somebody too? I thought I saw that recently.
I don't know.
All right. There's also a smaller, I think one of the former Baltic states is starting to aim stuff at one of its neighbors. I can't remember which one.
Basically, what we're saying is we wish you
Oh,
Happy New
hey, we
Year.
missed the big one. Wait. China is pushing the shit out of its
Taiwan.
legal limits with Japan and Taiwan,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
is starting to fly closer and closer flyovers of military aircraft over
Over Taiwan. Yeah.
U.S. assets.
Yeah, Xi Jinping, went to Biden's trip, told him, like, yeah, we're taking over Taiwan. What are you gonna do about it? It's like, yeah, like, it's gonna be, Happy New Year, 2024. I might just do more drugs. Just, that's my New Year's resolution. Do more drugs.
I've
Get
started enjoying a bit more of the halfling leaf towards the end of
yeah.
this year, man. Best sleep I've ever had, and then I got to wake up and face this nonsense again. It sucks. It's the the thinkers like you and I. It's going to be the moderates in the middle like you and I that are going to suffer for this nonsense.
Maybe we should get into a sport or something. Like get like
No, we should join a
really.
cult. We should do like everybody else does and join a cult.
If there's sex involved, like and with
Oh,
women,
but not
I
the
might
kind
be
you
in.
like.
Huh?
I said not the kind you're going to like.
I'm open to being in a cult. Like at this rate, like get my head, out of this. But yeah, 2024, man, we're going in limping. I got invited to a bunch of New Year's parties, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna drive out east and be alone by the beach. Like that's gonna
I
be
got
my.
invited to a kicking party, and because of what's happening here, I can't go.
You sure
So
you can't go?
can't go, man. I spoke to the hostess.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, here's what's happening at home, and the conversation was, yeah, too many people here are susceptible. Don't come.
Okay.
So anyway, brother, this is going to take some editing, so let's wrap it up.
Happy New Year.
What the hell is my sign off? Oh
We,
yeah,
we,
right. My
we,
sign off is we invite you, perhaps jokingly, perhaps sarcastically, perhaps genuinely, to continue the conversation in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you all again soon. And tentative, not even like a pessimistic, optimistic Happy New Year's.
Happy New
If
Year.
you say good night, everybody, that's you.